Alrighty, hello, good evening everybody. Hopefully you can see me, or hopefully you can see a black screen, hopefully you can hear me. Let me switch over to the game. There we are. And let me get the music started as well. Let's go with main theme, shall we, from City Skylines to get us kicked off. Let's get the chat up, there we go. I was hoping there'd be more people standing by waiting, but there seems to have been... I don't know, actually. I don't know. Where is everyone? I got a lot of upvotes on Reddit when I posted about this stream, so I was hoping I'd have quite a few people waiting at the start, but there we go. Anyway, good evening. Welcome to tonight's stream. Good evening, George. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to be trying to do a lot tonight. Can you hear the music? By the way, the stream music, because I messed up my Football Manager recording from last week, where I thought I had music playing throughout the video, and it turned out I didn't. So that was derpy. But hopefully you guys can hear it now. But yeah, I got quite a lot of interest on Reddit when I posted about this stream, so hopefully we get quite a few people watching tonight. Fingers crossed. It'd be nice to have some interest again. I make myself sound like such a loner when I say things like that. That's not what I meant at all. Anyway, OpenTTD, we're back. This is Queen City Junction. Already looking at this, I've got some... Oh, can you not hear the music? I don't know how to fix that then. I mean, I suppose I could do that. And see if you can hear it now. And if that doesn't work, I don't know what to do. According to this, desktop audio device 2, Samsung, NVIDIA high definition audio, blah 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 blah. That's the device that I've chosen for Media Player to play through. And on Streamlabs, and maybe it's just because it's quiet. Afternoon, Andy? Or evening? Is it afternoon or is it evening? 5 PM. There's always a debate that rumbles on about that. Yeah, according to OBS it's playing, so I don't know. I'm going to leave it up, because it might just be a quiet piece of music, and the next one you might be able to hear. Who knows? Can hear it now. Alright, good. Yeah, because I'm capturing this to turn into a time-lapse. Hopefully this week I will actually capture it without all the overlays, which I kept saying last week was a really cool feature, and then it turned out I hadn't set it up correctly. So hopefully this week that is going to be the case. That got a lot of views, by the way, that time-lapse. I was really happy with that. I think it's on 80-something right now. Oh no, 70. Damn, I thought it broke the 80s. Never mind. Queen City Junction. Already I'm looking at it and thinking there might be ways to improve this. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to worry about other things right now. For example, let's get up the plan list. So originally this week was going to be building south from here down towards the south coast. I could still end up doing some, if not all of that. But what I really want to do, because we had a chat about this on Discord and I didn't really do a good job of getting my point across. So last week I mentioned... Where are we? Fort Flonwood, which is up here somewhere. Here. So I was talking about this line here. Currently, it just curves east. And I was saying that's really pointless, really, because I keep saying really for some weird reason. Trains come from the northeast. They come from Guard City, which is up this direction. And then they come down via either the Dintown branch or the Tatham branch, come through Fort Flonwood Central, through Fort Flonwood Parkway, and then they just turn east again. And that seemed a bit stupid. So what I'm going to do instead, and this is the point I was trying to make last week. This line is going to continue south, and it's going to go through Sadworth Falls, places like that, and it will connect up. So this is the GWR at this point. This is the line that I'm referring to. So this is the line that runs down to Portfield and connects up with the... Where's Portfield? There. And connects up with the West Coast route. But I'm going to keep this connection here. But this bit here is going to be diverted so that it will then run... Keep losing my bearings. It will run this way and then east through some of these big towns here, through Sadworth Falls, and then connect up with the line into Fort Flonwood Parkway. The Buntbourne branch, which is this one here, is going to stay, but it's going to branch off of the new main line. So rather than this be the main line and then the south bit branches off, it's going to be the other way around. So the south bit is going to become the main line, and the Buntbourne section is going to become the branch. And it will be a triangular junction, so trains will be able to come through Gironam's Cross and then either head west towards the coast or head north up to Fort Flonwood Parkway. That's what I meant. This line to Buntbourne is not closing. It's not going anywhere. It's going to remain open. But I wanted to do this because, again, you know, you want to have express trains running down through Fort Flonwood, and it seems a bit pointless doing that if there's nowhere for them to go. So that's one thing we're going to be doing today. The next thing, actually, I'm going to plan this out so I don't forget it. New FFP to... What are you called? You're the Great Western again. No, you're not the Great Western. You are the Great Western. Where's the... Over here. To Sledtown. Okay, and you're going to go from here to Sadworth Falls, probably along the front of the lake here, something like this, and then up this way, and round, and down to here. And this line here will become a 2-track line rather than a 4-track. So the 2 fast lines here are going to be cut off, and it'll just be the 2 slow lines that continue down through Portfield and join up with the coast. That makes more sense to me. So that's the first route that I'm going to be working on. The second route is going to be the Sanley connection, which was here, I believe. And that will run up towards Quinn City, I think we said, wasn't it? Also, where is... Oh, Quinn City's all the way over there. Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah, I'm getting myself confused now. This is going to run to Charwood, which is here. Currently the terminus of the GWR along this bit. It will remain the terminus of the GWR along this bit, but I will use it for Guard City Southwestern and just West Coast and Southwestern services as well. And it will be re-electrified. It currently isn't. So let's call this Charwood to Sanley, and you're basically going to run pretty much straight south. We'll try and connect up some of these bigger towns. I might run you down this side of the hill so we don't have to cross over the... Either that, or actually we could just go like that and then tunnel underneath. I kind of like the idea of tunnels. And then we could connect to this branch line as well. Let's run you this way, this way. Now already I'm thinking I'm not going to get much of this done tonight, so there will be a possibility for us to come back and do some more of these in time. Oops. Doesn't matter whether it's private or public actually, because I'm the only one who has access to this. Okie dokie, so that's phase 2. Phase 3 is probably not happening tonight actually. There was one other line, wasn't there, that we were talking about? George, you were there. You were in that conversation. What was the other one we were discussing? There's this line, which goes up to Waterside Airport. That will get built in the future and will also connect up to Hartberg. I think that might be the one, actually. I think that might be the one. And that one will be an east-facing. I might build a junction between the two over here somewhere. Like a really long set of crossovers, basically. So you could run from the east here and then go up towards Quinn City. Likewise, you can run from Hartberg down and towards Sanley. That's why we chose the title of A Maze of Railway Lines, because it is going to be a massive maze by the time this is all finished. As George pointed out, the map is very empty in this southwest corner, so we're going to try and fill it. Fort Flonwood to Quinn City, Was that one? I think that was the confusion, wasn't it? And Sanley to Hartburg via Queen City. Oh, yeah, okay, I think there's some confusion there too. So this connection over here, God, it's miles away. This is meant to be the Sanley to Queen City, but I suppose we could build another one. But I don't want to congest this junction too much. Maybe build one over here on this curve instead, because then you can go right through these huge towns and cities and still find our way over to Queen City. That could work. And then the other one was Fort Flonwood to Queen City. I don't think that can happen. I think from here, though, we could go up to... I mean, what have we got? Denston... Tomway Funston's there, actually. That might be one we talked about, because then I said it would become part of the Network Connect franchise. Yeah, Fort Flonwood is a bit too far away, I would say. Let me start construction on this line anyway, rather than just messing around. I have also got rail news. My magazine finally arrived. It's only 6 days late this month. There isn't that much really in there to talk about. There's nothing sort of revolutionary, groundbreaking kind of thing. There's a few interesting points. There's actually something to do with something that I was talking about the other day. That's the wrong button. To do with the heritage movement and potentially Metrolink taking over the line that's currently the East Lancs Railway. I'm not a fan. I think that goes without saying. I don't like that idea. I'm all for Metrolink expanding. I'm not against that. But I don't like the idea of heritage railways having to give way for that to happen. I'm just not a fan of that. I need to build wisely here, because this is going to be branching. Am I going to have enough room to do this? That's the question. Let's say... Right. So this first... God, I'm already losing my mind here. I'm going to have to do it with bridges. So I think I'm actually, instead of tunnelling underneath this line, I think I'm going to be bridging over it. So let's put all this back how it was. Ish. That's not really how it was, but it'll do. You're all going to... So you're going to come up first of all. You're going to remain flat for a bit. Wait, am I... What am I doing? Other way around. Other way around. That's what I'm doing. Other way around. So you are going to come up first. And then you're going to bridge over these lines. So you're going to bridge over that one first. And then there's going to be a gap while this one goes up. Wait. Sorry. It's going to be a gap while this one goes up. So you're going to do this. You're then going to... Oh, hang on. I will get this right in a minute. So first of all, you're going to branch off. But yeah, the big story with the Heritage Rail movement is there's plans to reopen the line on the Isle of Wight between Ryde and Newport. And as the editor of the Railway magazine points out, that sounds great, except for one burning question. If they're going to be running hourly services along that line, how are you meant to run a preserved railway on there as well? Because the idea is to share. And it's not going to work, is it? You can't. You can't share. It's always going to fail. What am I doing? That needs to come back. You go up there. That's what happens. And then you go up like that. Except I am going to have to move... Oh, God. I am going to have to move this back slightly because of the way this is all lining up. Right. You are going to go across like this. There's then going to be a gap for the next line, which is going to be this one. Like so. You're going to connect like this. Now, have I done this wisely at this end? Let's check. What do you guys think? Do you like the idea of preserved railways being reused for expansion, or are you kind of in my way of thinking of it shouldn't really be happening? I don't like it. Honestly, I don't like it. I think it's kind of like these preservationists, they've worked really, really hard over the last 40, 50, 60 years to keep these lines open and operational, and now Network Rail is kind of just stepping back in and saying, thanks for all your hard work, we'll take over from here. It just feels a bit wrong. So where are you? You're fast, right? So you're going to go on this side. Like that. Oh, no, not like that. Like that. Oh, God. I'm misclicking everything. I had to move my chair today because I had a guy come around to try and fix the damaged socket under my desk. And I can't find where I had my chair where it was in a really good position. So I'm all over the place right now. It's the first time I've moved that chair since I put it in my room back in January. A long time ago. Where is everyone tonight? It's all very quiet. See, I don't think it will be kept. As I said the other day, you can't expect people to believe the integrity of something like the East Lancashire Railway when there's tram wires overhead. Or, you know, if you're doing a 1940s weekend and a tram rumbles through, it's just... it doesn't sound great. The difference between the trams in Fleetwood and the Metrolink system is it's heritage trams in Fleetwood, and it's heritage trams versus new trams in Fleetwood, whereas in the East Lancs it's going to be heritage trams, or not even heritage, modern day trams versus steam, and you know, heritage diesel, and it just I don't know. Usual me, I have an opinion on everything. Some people value my opinion more than others, let's say. But I really don't like the idea. I don't like it. Can I do this? I'll have to lower you down. I'm trying to be clever with this junction. It might not work. Also, major problem. I'm gonna have to move these pairs of lines here. I can see this already. Someone asked me on Reddit the other day, by the way, how you do diagonal stuff. You just hold control. In this case, you hold control to turn, build into remove, but when you're doing train tools, you just hold control and it turns it into from horizontal, vertical to diagonal. It's really handy. Big fan. Right, that's how we're going to do this, and you're going to go up like that. This one is going to go like that. Hopefully you guys liked my High Speed 2 opinion video on Tuesday as well. It was a bit ranty, but again, I get so passionate about it and I get really angry about it, the way it's being done. And I always like to stress, railways are not my major interest. So whenever people ask me for my opinion on things, I'm mainly reacting to what's been said rather than, you know, forming a good constructive argument and going off that. So when I read the High Speed 2 plans, I just think that's not what was originally proposed, and that's what makes me angry about it, because we're just not doing it the way it should be done. And I mean, that's my least favourite sentence in the whole wide world right now, is alternative plan. Because if you're coming up with alternative plans, I don't want to sound like a guru or anything, but if you're coming up with a plan B, it means you don't have much faith in plan A. And, you know, if you've got no faith in plan A, what's the point of even having a plan A? Just go straight to B. Make plan B your plan A. Okay, we've got 4 lines here. Now you might have noticed, how do they get from the east side here to the slow line here? And I'm about to answer that question. Because you and you are going to scooch up a bit, and then this is going to be flattened. You're also, whoops, you're also going to scooch up a bit, and then there's going to be another bridge that runs under here. But yeah, I really wanted to make that High Speed 2 video because, again, on Discord it's very, very easy to end up having an argument with someone, because you might be saying, you might even be having the same thoughts and feelings, but it's really hard to get across through messages. So to actually say it out loud, I think I mentioned this in the video, in fact, to actually have the opportunity to say it out loud, you make a little bit more sense. But yeah, I mean, everyone, to be a bit crude here, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone has one. And sometimes they're not great. Sometimes they're well-formed opinions based on actual statistical facts. Sometimes it's, you know, heart over head or head over heart, whichever way it might be. I try to let everyone have an opinion, but it's very easy to sit there sometimes and just say you're wrong. And the worst thing is, because there's lots of, you know, rail enthusiast YouTubers out there now, it seems to be a market that's really taken off. And the last thing I want is to be paired against one of them and say, well, they actually think this. Because who's right? No one. No one's right in that scenario. We all have our own opinions. I think High Speed 2 is going to fail, not because of budget or anything like that, but just because it's not what was originally proposed. Some people might think it will succeed for that reason. All I know is construction has started on a terminus at Euston, and we don't even yet know where it's running. So I don't know how we can be at a stage where we've started construction and yet the plan hasn't been finalised. That to me just sounds weird. It'd be like building a house having not actually decided how many stories it's going to have, and you're going to get to a point where you're going to need to relay the foundations because it's not strong enough. Right, new line. Done. Old connections. Done. Now I've got to connect these up. I could probably make this tunnel 2 tiles longer now, which is good. The other thing I always struggle to get my head around is, why do people ask for my opinions on these things? Because I can't make change. I can say one thing's good, one thing's bad, sure, but that doesn't change anything. It's not like they're suddenly going to have a new committee meeting because I don't like the proposed route. So you say that, I don't think it is. Like, we know it's going to Birmingham, but you can't justify building a high-speed route just because it's going to Birmingham. Although I have seen plans today for a new people mover system at Birmingham, which looks pretty cool. They've put a lot of thought into that. Hey C Tucker, welcome, welcome. You've not missed much. I've just been ranting about High Speed 2 again whilst building a junction. You know, same old. I said this on Tuesday, I'll say it again. Too many people are getting involved in the project. Too many people. Far too many people. And you've got, is it Green Gauge or whatever they're called? Who I have vaguely heard of. I know sort of what they are. They're like a community-based group. To my knowledge, at least. That's what it sounds like they are. But, you know, they could have the most qualified rail experts in their group, and that still doesn't make them right. That still doesn't make their plan the one that everyone has to listen to. And that's why I don't really pay much attention to that sort of thing. Not because I don't like them, because I'm sure they're fine. But they're just getting involved when they don't necessarily need to be involved. It doesn't make sense to me. It's I think the phrase is whataboutery. Like, you'll say something, you could set up a charity for a particular illness, for example, and the first comment you'll get is, what about cancer? What about heart disease? And there's always a what about. There's always like a, as if you've forgotten everybody else. And that's not what this is at all. So like High Speed 2, they've said, you know, it'll run from London via Birmingham to the northwest and the northeast. And people are now going, what about Sheffield? What about Leeds? What about Nottingham? And the answer is, what about Leeds? You know, what about, why should they be involved in this project? Because they could find their connections elsewhere. Have I missed a line here? Oh, yeah, I have, because that is that one. That's why. Hey, Tom. Yo, bro. And I've got nothing against Leeds. I've got nothing against Sheffield. I've got nothing against Nottingham. I'd like to get those out there right now. My problem isn't with the cities as such. It's the communities around those cities who are saying, what about us? Because, you know, if you can't be bothered to get a train from Lincoln to Sheffield conventionally to get on a high-speed train there, or, you know, Lincoln to, is it Totton, where the other connection's going to be? If you can't do that, if you insist that the high-speed train runs to your doorstep, it's not going to be high speed, and then it's not going to be worth doing. And even if all the trains that run on high speed 2 are 200 mile an hour compatible, it still doesn't make it a faster system, because, I mean, we could do the maths if you like. How long does it take for a Eurostar to decelerate from maximum speed to station stopping speed? It's going to be like 6 miles, I would guess. And if you have, say, 6 junctions on high speed 2, that's 36 miles of the route where trains are either slowing down or speeding up. And it's not going to take 6 miles to accelerate to top speed, but you kind of get my point. You end up having a train that's running vastly slower than it should be, and it's going to be holding up everything behind it. Doesn't matter whether it's 200 mile an hour compatible or capable. Doesn't mean it's going to be running at 200 miles per hour all the time. And again, I'll point out high speed 1 and say, you know, when you slow down for Stratford, you start decelerating for Stratford Station about 2.5 miles before the end of the tunnel. So if there's a Eurostar following behind a Javelin, that Eurostar is not going anywhere whilst that Javelin's in the way. And that Javelin is only getting slower. So you're just creating a headache for the schedulers. And I'm sure you guys disagree with me. Because opinions. But I want to read the quote from the editor here. This is to do with the plan to reopen Ride to Newport on the Isle of Wight. How could an hourly timetabled service, say from 6 AM to 11 PM, operate without significant detriment to income and patronage to the existing heritage railway built up over decades? So if you've got a train that, you know, a modern electrical multiple unit that runs between Ryde Pierhead and Newport via Haven Street, Smallbrook Junction, Wootton, and the like, the everyday person isn't going to take the steam railway anymore. They're going to take the faster option, which is the EMU. Plus, you've then got the issue of if they are still running steam trains and there's a delay or a breakdown or something like that, it will hold up everything because it's a single track line. If they rebuild it as a double track line, then you might have, you know, alternatives. But yeah, how do you encourage people to continue using the steam railway when there's a faster option there? The answer is you can't, and it's going to really impact on the steam railway. And that's my problem with a lot of these plans, is you're basically piggybacking off someone else's business at that point, and not for their benefit. Even if, because who owns the route on the Isle of Wight? I'm pretty sure it's the steam railway. So Network Rail or whoever operates the modern trains, they will pay track access charges. But is that going to be enough to offset the amount that they're losing? I don't think it will. I think a lot of heritage railways will end up dying because of this. And there'll always be a politician saying, but this benefits them, and it really doesn't. It's like if you build a road next to a railway, you'll notice that the passenger numbers will probably drop because more people are now using the road than the railway. I'm really destroying this town, by the way. I'm taking out my anger on it a little bit here. But the people who do disagree with me, whoever you are, I will always ask the question, how do you justify it? Apart from saying, I'm going to have a new rule on the channel as well. You cannot use the phrase, it will add more connections, because that's not true. Simply isn't true. Oh, that's the height. If a high-speed train runs from Lincoln to Sheffield, it will only run at the same speed as a conventional rail vehicle between Lincoln and Sheffield. There's no room for it to run any faster, so it's not going to improve connections, it's just going to equate those connections. Part of the Orange Army. What's it been like to work on projects at the moment with social distancing? Has there been a massive change? Because you're already wearing PPE in many cases, so maybe you have to wear slightly different PPE. But I imagine it's pretty similar, because you can't inhale dust and things when you're working, particularly underground. So you must already have like good masks and things like that. What's your opinion on what I've said, George? Do you agree? It's difficult. You kind of have to take your rail enthusiast hat off for a minute and just say, is this actually going to benefit anybody? And even if you have to think about it for a second or two, the answer is probably no. And again, do not use the expression, it will add more connections, because I can promise you it won't. Which smaller work teams, full rebreathers? Do the maths for me then, George. How would it benefit more? What's the current journey time between Lincoln and Sheffield? So whenever I hear rebreather, I always think of, you know, like in video games where you get a rebreather so you can go underwater for longer. I'm in that mindset. I know what a rebreather is. Don't worry about that. It's just that's my only ever experience of rebreathers is you know, GTA 5 for example, when you do the Humane Labs raid, you have a rebreather. So bad. I need to get my mind out of video gaming. Get out into the real world a bit more. Higher frequency, higher capacity. I'm still of the opinion that High Speed 2 should be, at least High Speed 2 only trains should be double decker, and we build it to European loading gauges. Because you can fit like a third, maybe 2/3 more people per train that way. Okay, so it's 1 hour 17 minutes currently between Lincoln and Sheffield. How much faster will it be with a high-speed connection? There has to be, that figure has to be somewhere if it's an official plan, surely. Oh. I've been rewatching the Grand Tour recently, and they were talking there. Where were they? I think they were in Nashville, and they were talking about the Hyperloop system that was being built and how it can transport you X many miles at 500 miles an hour in 12 minutes. And they did the maths, and basically you would have to go from a standing start to 500 miles an hour instantly for it to do that journey in the time that advertised. And apart from the fact your insides would become your outsides doing that, it wouldn't be a particularly comfortable ride either. Hello, Bob. How's my day today? My day is good, thank you. How is your day? Are you telling me you're not in favour of that, George? I thought you were in favour. I think you have to do the hub and spoke type system for High Speed 2 to work. So let's say each region of the UK has its own high-speed hub station. So in the case of the southeast, it will be London. In the case of the Midlands, it will be Birmingham. In the case of the northeast, it would be, say, Newcastle. In the case of the northwest, it would be Manchester, either Airport or Piccadilly. You will have other stations along the route. I'm not opposed to that. The original stations that were proposed along the route, like Manchester Airport and East Midlands Hub, I'm not opposed to those. I think those are smart. But it's like you have a designated hub station in each region of the UK. And if you want to get to high-speed rail as fast as possible, you would use conventional rail to get to those hub stations. Hyperloop is being built, George. In Las Vegas, they've recently broken through on a tunnel project that's going ahead. Bear in mind that everyone thought SpaceX would die when that was first announced, and the Dragon capsule landed again earlier this week. So that worked. I think Hyperloop with Elon Musk behind it will work just as well, in my humblest of opinions. But I'm not a fan of Musk as a person. I think he's a bit of an odd job. But as a driven entrepreneur slash businessman slash pioneer, inventor, whatever you want to call him, he really is on the ball when it comes to these things. Alright, Bob, no worries. Thanks for coming in. So my argument the other day was, if you build something that runs alongside the West Coast main line, you're obviously not going to have non-stop London to Glasgow services on the West Coast main line anymore. So why not divert all of that to high speed 2? As in, you know, run a faster service that are non-stop services, and then either use the free paths to focus more on regional services. So that's where cross-country could come into it, and actually run those on the West Coast main line rather than on high speed 2. And then you can have more cross-country services like Glasgow to Norwich or something like that. And I'm literally just pulling random cities out. I don't think that would work in reality, but there we go. You could do something more like that, or use it for more commuter services in and out of Manchester, for example. That kind of system would work really well, as opposed to trying to get a train that would have a good capacity on a lower speed line. It would probably be bi-mode as well, because not all of the cross-country network is electrified. And then trying to have that run on 200-mile-an-hour railways as well. I don't think that would work. And that's where I point at mainland Europe and say, you know, the TGV lines, they don't have the loco-hauled regional services running on the LGV East line, for example. You know, they segregate it. Same in Germany. They have conventional railways, and then right next to them they've got the new high-speed routes. One station per major region is fine. That would work really well. How am I going to build? So you're going to be... Oh, okay. Yeah, this is going to be easy. So the high-speed route, or the fast lines here. Again, the difference between fast and high-speed is something that people seem to forget as well. I should ask Chris Packham what his opinion is. And if he drove to that hearing or not. Because obviously he cares about the animals. And don't get me wrong, I care about the animals too. But it's very easy to be a hypocrite when you're a globe-travelling environmentalist. Very easy. I think the only one who isn't a hypocrite in that area is Greta Thunberg, because didn't she sail to the US when she did her speech at the UN? I think she did. I think Newcastle to Reading should stay Newcastle to Reading. Because again, there'll be more paths on the East Coast main line once High Speed 2 is done. Done and fully implemented, I should say. Because I think it'll be phased. A bit like what they're trying to do with Crossrail. And actually I was reading about the Crossrail delays, and I'm not as angry as I was now, because it really isn't anyone's fault. Like, if the DFT released COVID and then because of that it was delayed, then fair enough, but they really didn't. No one did, let's be honest. Some conspiracy theorists will probably have ideas about that, but let's not go there. Dear God, let's not go there. Your mind just melts when you sit and listen to a conspiracy theorist. You just think, how do you live? See, I think, right, cross-country needs a rethink, for sure, but it should be its own project. So, for example, cross-country does run on the Coventry to Nuneaton line, doesn't it, via Leamington Spa and Kenilworth. It's a single-track line. Why? That should be doubled. There are plans to double Kenilworth, and that was already implemented into the station design, but why was that not top of the priorities list? The most laughable one that I read recently was the Gospel Oak to Barking line is going to be closed again soon. Because, I mean, Chris, I don't know, it's Chris, I'm assuming your name's Chris. C. Tucker, I don't know which part of the UK you're in, so I don't know whether you're responsible for this, so I'll choose my words a little bit carefully. But why, when the Gospel Oak to Barking line was modernised, why didn't they do all the bridge replacements and things then? Because they were behind schedule, so why not use that as an opportunity to actually get that done, and then not have to close the line again a few months later to actually do it, or to do that part of the project. There are plans to have cross-country service cross-country twice. What? That sentence makes no sense. Okay, all signalled. Good. We'll build the stations in, and then we'll name them so they can be added to the map. You don't work, do you? I need to cross the lines over again. Yeah, I don't like hypocritical environmentalists, because all they're doing, I should stop saying you because it's not you guys. All they're doing is taking value away from their cause. So, you know, if you've got Chris Packham standing in front of a judge saying High Speed 2 will be damaging to the environment, all the judge has to ask is, how did you get here today, Mr. Packham? And case dismissed. If he replies like pedal-powered motorcycle or something, then okay, case maybe not dismissed. But he won't. He'll say he drove there in his Bentley or whatever he is. Not your patch. Okay, I can criticise them to my heart's content then. What a bunch of morons. They're not really. Again, I feel a bit for Network Rail, because they get the blame for a lot of these projects running behind schedule. Like the Orange Army, I should say. The higher ups, they're idiots. But the lower downs, they're just doing their job a lot of the time. You know, they get given a bunch of resources and a time scale, and they have to go out and do X, Y, Z. And more often than not, it's an impossible task. It's a thankless task. I'm not a fan of Network Rail. They've let down so many operators recently. Again, the higher ups. Makes me angry. Bromsgrove did something similar, closed the line to build the station, then opened the station only to close it 2 weeks later to upgrade signalling. Yeah, do it all in one go. To relate back to the theme park industry, which is really my area of expertise at the moment, Universal was closed. Universal in Orlando, Florida was closed during the main part of the lockdown. They have now reopened with strict guidelines. But while they were closed, they built Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure this year. Raving success. They were meant to be opening a new roller coaster next year, which is currently called the Velossa Coaster. And the reason it was meant to open next year was because they didn't think they would have time to actually go in and build the project during the main season this year. But because they were closed down for so long, they've actually built it. The ride has been built, finished, they're now in the process of theming it. So there are rumours that it could potentially open this year. And that's using your situation to your advantage. Whereas in the rail industry, we don't seem to do that. We say things like it's going to be a 2-year project, and then something will happen where they could get started on it, and it's almost like the people behind their desks are going, no, we said it was a 2-year project, and it will be a 2-year project. And I just sit there and think, why? Make it a 1-year project. You've got the opportunity. This isn't like, I don't know, think of another example. This isn't like Crossrail, where there's been a lot of unforeseen circumstances that have gotten in the way. This is a really perfect opportunity to get projects done, particularly whilst people weren't travelling as much. And now we've lost that opportunity because people are back on the trains. You're just playing into the hands of these people who want you to fail. It's so frustrating. I think this is going to have to be a non-electrified route here, because unless we use dual voltage, which we could do, I can't see there being much use here. Just fill all this in. We'll plant some trees. It'll be nice. I've seen the plans now as well for those barn ventilation shafts on High Speed 2. I think it's a really good way to get people to shut up about it, because they really do fit in with the surrounding area. It's like if you go in a store and you see the price of an item has gone up and you decide to blame the poor sod behind the till who has to ask for your money. It's not their fault. They didn't make the decision. It's not like they had a group meeting that morning and said, when Sandra comes in, we're going to charge her double for this. People are blaming the wrong people. A lot of the time as well, people have to look at themselves, but they don't. Yeah. I think Network Rail needs to be regulated. I think I mentioned this before, haven't I? About this this new panel that's being formed. I think there should be a representative of each franchise operator at this panel, along with a representative from Network Rail. And every time something goes wrong, you know, a project isn't delivered on time, or a franchise might lose, or an operator, sorry, might lose their franchise because of an upgrade not completed in time. I think that representative of Network Rail should be put in front of the rest of the panel and be made to explain why that happened. So obviously it needs to be someone who's a decision maker at Network Rail. Don't put the T-boy on that panel, because that's not particularly fair on them. But they need to be held accountable for a lot of these decisions. I'll talk more about it on Discord later. No worries. Again, I'm on your side in many ways. I think Network Rail gets a really bad rap. Like the workers get a really bad rap, because you do see a lot of these projects, they'll close an entire weekend railway for a weekend, completely replace everything and have it opened again on time, sometimes even ahead of time. And that's the bit that needs to be applauded a bit more. And the bit that doesn't need to be applauded is the guy getting billions of pounds of bonuses every year, despite the fact that the rail system is falling apart. Yeah, when Sandra, I'm trying to defend the name Karen as well, because I know people called Karen and they're not Karens, not by any stretch. So I think they get an unfair rap as well. Right. Sadworth Falls Station built. Now we're going to move on to Headingbury, which sounds like a cricket ground. I didn't know this. England were playing cricket the other day against Ireland, and England lost. Can you believe that? England lost. How the hell did we lose to Ireland at cricket? A sport we literally invented to be the best at. beggars belief. It honestly does. Yeah, they probably did. Steam's platform as well. Again, I actually forgot that project was happening. I saw an update on it recently, and I was like, oh yeah, forgot about that. That's to help with the Thameslink program that is now failing because of lots of decisions made by people who shouldn't have been making those decisions. That's the other thing. The new transport minister, when it is time to change the transport minister, should be made to take an aptitude test so that they actually know what railways are and know what motorways are and things like that and how to operate them. It should be someone from the industry. Or we're almost at the stage where we should scrap having individual ministers in charge of these areas and have a panel. So like for the transport sector, we should have one person from the rail industry, one person from the air industry, one person from the bus, coach, all the other industries. And then there would be no arguments. Apart from when there's arguments. And have one person who represents that panel who then reports back to government. Because it's ridiculous. You know, you have an education minister who gets put through a cabinet reshuffle and is suddenly the health minister. Do they have any experience of running hospitals? Do they know what a doctor does? I don't think they do. And yet they've now got to walk around the country saying, sorry, we're slashing your budget because of X, Y, Z. No news is good news means we've done something right if no one complains. Yeah, you're kind of like the forgotten people, really. You only come out at night, you do your project, and then you disappear again before the commuters get up the next morning. And they don't even know you're there. The ballast changes colour on the track, and that's about it. That's how they know that you've been there. It's like when you have badger feeders in your garden. You know they've been there because you can see their footprints, but that's it. Oh no. I don't want to compare Network Rail workers to badgers. That's not right. That's not what I meant. Nobody clip that. Someone's going to clip that. We got there first, now we're the worst. Yep. Just like football, just like rugby, just like cricket. I was going to make a social commentary joke there as well, but I don't think that would be appropriate. Alright, new station here as well. That's the thing about these lines. They're really quick to plan out, and you can say, you know, I'll do this, 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 and this. But then when you actually start building it, you realise that the plan was a bad plan, and then you've got to change it to meet the new demands. Which again is really something that the High Speed 2 panel should have done. Oh well. No harm. I admire them. I do admire Network Rail workers. Because, you know, it's pretty dangerous as well. It must be awful in the winter. Howling winds. Pouring down with rain. What am I doing with this? I might build... Okay, yeah, I know what I'm going to do with this. This particular design. Let's not do that. Let's do the shelters. Like so. And then sign. And sign. And then ticket machines. I wish there were keyboard shortcuts for all of these. That would make my life a lot easier as well. Yeah, they're not the Orange Army anymore, they're the Badger Army. If you're a Network Rail employee, you wear your ID badge like a Badger of Honour. I'll stop now. I'll get my coat. Okay. My sub count's just gone down because of that joke, I'm sure of it. Did I build that? Yeah, I did build that right. Oh, I'm going to make this one look a little bit different, actually. I'm going to do this. So you're going to stand right next to the high-speed trains going through. This, by the way, is part of the Guard City Express plan that I was coming up with. So it used to be you would run through Fort Flonwood here, and then this used to come around this way, didn't it, and connect up over here. Whereas now, you'll continue south through Fort Flonwood Parkway and down this dedicated line to Charwood, and then from the dedicated line at Charwood right the way down to Sanley, and that'll be the new connection. So you're not necessarily getting in the way of the Western Reaches South trains anymore, or vice versa. I've got some funny jokes. I still harbour an ambition to be a comedian of some description. I wouldn't say I'm a good sketch writer or anything like that, so I'm not going to be a TikTok star, because that's an oxymoron, isn't it? TikTok star. But I've got some funny things that I say from time to time. I like to think. Someone back me up, please. Right, we'll rebuild this route while we're here as well. Might as well. Well. So let's say we now go down, 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 down. And then build across from here. And that's the new link here. Also, I'm going to rename those stations in a second so that George can get on with the map, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. The one I'm really looking forward to seeing is the Guard City map, because that really harks back to the old days of the Jeffries network, where the Guard City map was the thumbnail, and that could possibly be coming back in one way or another, which I haven't talked to George about yet, but I would like that to come back in one way or another, as well as be potential merchandise one day. Also have it as the thumbnail, because the thumbnail I'm using now was a screenshot of the map taken in March of this year, I think it was. And if you think how much the network has changed since then, it's due an upgrade. Like, for example, the East Coast route didn't exist, the Network Central route didn't exist. I think at that point, the high-speed route hadn't been extended to Bath City, or had it? No, it probably had been, actually. But loads of other connections hadn't been built. Plus, the configuration around a lot of the terminus stations was still off. Yeah, everyone leaves. The worst thing would be if it has a notification sound every time someone leaves as well. Like on a Discord or a Zoom call or something, you just hear everyone drop out one by one. So I hate using the auto tool for getting rid of track. In fact, I hate it in general. It's so fiddly. I'm not a good advert for it, let's put it that way. I feel like Clarkson, I'm just sitting there going, oh, for God's sake, click on the right thing. For those who haven't been watching my F1 series, I strongly suggest you watch my F1 series, because it's the 70th anniversary Grand Prix starts tomorrow at Silverstone, which is going to be awesome. The Grand Prix last week was incredibly exciting. Lewis Hamilton won it, but his tyre deflated. His left front tyre deflated on his final lap, so he did an entire lap with only 3 wheels, essentially, and ended up winning the race still. But yeah, my story on F1 is, it started off good, came 3rd in Australia. Then I had a really bad race in Bahrain, where I finished last. And I had a terrible race in Vietnam, where I was... well, I crashed. That's what happened. I crashed out. That was last week's ones. This week is Beijing. Not Beijing, Shanghai, for God's sake. It's in Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. I will not tell you how well I did on that, but let's just say that I've racked up the difficulty over the last couple of weeks, and I'm really regretting that decision right now, because of the last 2 races that I'm up to. I think I'm 3 races ahead of the series right now, and yeah, bad things might have happened. Bad things might have happened. Okay, so yeah, this line here is also going to be used for GWR trains. So I'm trying to think how that's going to work. Let's say the GWR ones are going to come down here, and then at this junction here, they're just going to go straight across onto this line, which is the slow line at this point, through Portfield. They're then going to cross over here to this line, run along here, join up with this line, and then somewhere around this area there'll be a crossover that then takes it onto the fast lines again, down towards Charwood. Actually, maybe even down here, because we've got big open space. That could work. And again, we're upgrading to digital railway now, so a lot of this is going to be... Oh, I've got to stop saying I apologise, it's annoying. A lot of this is going to be signal controlled now rather than waypoint controlled, so it's going to be a lot nicer to actually manage the speed limits. Alright, we must be approaching Charwood now. Surely. Yeah, there it is. Hello, Charwood. And again, it's all going to be controlled by signals. Now, this is currently a 2-track main line. I actually like the idea of keeping it as a 2-track main line at this point. Yeah, James May just shouts Clarkson. Or Hammond. I mean, he shouts them both. Sometimes in equal measure as well. I didn't like much of the Grand Tour when I first watched it, but I'm rewatching it now, and I'm really enjoying it now. So I think it's one of these ones where if you didn't enjoy it the first time around, particularly Season 1, they were so hand-tied by lawyers with what they could and couldn't do. And I was reading about Abby Eaton. She's their test driver from Season 2 onwards. And it specifically said when she first joined the show, she could only be credited as a driver because the BBC would not let them have a named driver. Like, they wouldn't have the something. So even though they had the American in Season 1, he had to have his face on show, so we all knew it was Mike Skinner. It's so petty and stupid when you're involved in things like that. There was genuinely a conversation when the Grand Tour first started about whether James May could use the expression "oh cock," because the BBC were trying to claim that they owned the rights to it. As it happens, there's now a cookery show coming out on Amazon later this year hosted by James May called "Oh Cook," so I think we know who won that argument. But it's so dumb. Of all the things to get caught up on, like a profanity, basically. Who owns the rights to the word cock? Honestly. Right, am I going to get this line built in the next half an hour? Maybe if I'm fast. And we could build this as a triangular junction now. Because we could have... This is the slow line, isn't it? So we're always going to connect to the slow lines for these. You can just go straight on. You can go like this, and then you'll join up over here somewhere. And that will be... In fact, I'll build that now so I don't forget that I've said that. Let's do it properly, Mark. There we go. And that will make my life a little bit easier at this end of the line. I'm still saying I'm a good speaker normally, honestly. When I'm doing presentations and I actually plan out what I'm going to say, it's like velvet. But when I'm doing this, I think it's because I'm building and talking at the same time and stuff like that. I forget my name sometimes. I really do. Forget my own bloody name. I have that a lot. Like the number of times, because my old channel name was my name, essentially, M4J3FFR135. For those of you that don't know, that's my initials, MAJ. The number of times I've gone to write my name on a form and I've put, you know, M4J3, and then I have to stop myself and go, hang on, that's not my name. Turn into the Ting Tings at that point. That's not my name. The LGBT Jeep. I've not got to that bit yet. What episode am I on? I can tell you. I'm on Season 2, episode 6. The one that's called Jags. Because I'm catching up on lots of things. So I'm watching an old San Andreas playthrough as well, because I didn't watch that first time round when it was released, what, 8 years ago? 9 years ago? Something like that. So I'm catching up on that, as you do. Why is that not a path signal? I think I did that wrong. I'm also catching up on old TV shows that I've never watched before. So I'm catching up on Spooks and shows like that. I liked the first 2 series of Spooks. The third series, I think because it started where the second one left off, and I didn't like how the second one finished, so I'm not really into it right now. I'm not feeling it. But yeah, there's some shows that I'm catching up on that I'm really enjoying. There's other shows where I tried to watch them. I really did. Like Breaking Bad. I watched the first 10 minutes of Breaking Bad and then I just switched it off. And I thought, well, what is this rubbish? Everyone's telling me it's the best show ever made. That's one of the reasons why I never gave Game of Thrones a chance and The Walking Dead. Because every time someone tells me now that a show is really good, I just think, bollocks. It isn't. Some famous person might have said it's good and now everyone's following like sheep because they feel like they have to. And I bet you it's crap. Yeah, Season 3, when they finally just decided, you know what, we're going to do our car show the way we want to do our car show. And you can kind of see that in Season 2. Like, they stopped Celebrity Brain Crash and replaced it with Celebrity Face Off. Because I reckon Amazon just got to the point where they thought, if the BBC are going to sue us, let's just sue them back. And, you know, now, Top Gear has found its feet again. I enjoyed the last series of Top Gear. I said I'd never watch it again after what happened, but when Paddy McGuinness and Andrew Flintoff were announced as hosts, I thought I have to watch this. And to be fair, Chris Harris is good too. And I like the fact that there can be 2 car shows. They do their own thing. They can be different. The Top Gear immediately after the trio left, they tried to just replicate what made them good, and it didn't work because they weren't there anymore. So since they've abandoned that idea and gone with what they think is the new generation, they've actually done a really good job. And likewise, once the Grand Tour managed to shake off the legal implications and did their own thing, they're also really good. Yeah, the Madagascar special. Seaman is a good episode. I didn't feel like the Grand Tour for me though. It almost felt like they teamed up to do a different show. Yeah, this route I think is going to have quite a few level crossings. This might become part of cross network as well. I don't know. Don't write that down. I'm looking forward to the Madagascar special. I think it was the right call to not do the studio stuff anymore, as good as that was. But I wouldn't mind it if they started bringing through a new generation of hosts, like Drive Tribe is doing now. If you don't know what Drive Tribe is, it's an app that Clarkson, Hammond and Mace set up along with, I can't remember his name, but he's rich as hell. And it's good. You know, I've been watching quite a lot of their stuff. They've got a really good team, good young team as well. It makes me sad because I watch these people on YouTube and then they say things like, I'm 22 this year, and I think, Christ, I'm 5 years older than them. So I feel like I've missed the boat a little bit there, but that's a really good thing. They got Food Tribe now as well, which is like a spin-off of Drive Tribe, which is also really good. Food Tribe makes me hungry. That's why I don't really watch their stuff very often. Even if they're making like really manky food, it just makes me hungry. That's why I can't watch MasterChef. Alright, we're back on terra firma. I would like an inner station in this area. And then a bridge over the bay. So let's do this. I'm going to lower this down and turn it into water. And I'm going to do this. My City Skylines video, which may come out next week, it might come out the week after, it depends on if I can get my backside in gear. I mentioned this on Discord the other day, but the reason there weren't many videos this week is after last week I tried to edit the time-lapse for this video and realized that my hard drive that I saved my edited videos to was full. So I had to buy a new hard drive. I have a new 6TB hard drive, which is an absolute beast. It sits on my PC. What I love about it is it's its own hard drive, but it's got 2 USB ports in it, so I've got my other hard drives now plugged into my hard drive. And I now have 6TB extra storage. So I can now go on for another, year or so before I fill that up. To put this in context, I had a series of archive folders of every video I've ever made, whether it's gone up on the channel or not, I have saved. Because you never know, I might one day upload it. So I decided to see just how much I had in these archive folders that I have spread out all over my PC. So I copied and pasted every single one of them to this new hard drive, and it's half full now. So I had 3 terabytes of archive videos, half of which I would say have never even been published. That's why there weren't many videos this week. But the City Skylines video I have planned for next week, if it does go up then, because I'm doing quite a long project there now, but I'm basically carving gaps through the city to build the new rail routes. So there's going to be more passenger rail coming to the city, Newcastle City, in the not too distant future. I've also been stripping assets as well, because I'm trying to not have my PC melt every time I load up the game. But that's something to look forward to, those of you who are interested in the Skyline series. I'm also going to completely rebuild the container terminal, because I've had some better ideas for that now, and how that's going to work. Including building like jetties / piers that jut out from the terminal, and that's where the ships are going to stop, rather than currently pulling up alongside. It's also to do with traffic. The overpass thing that you suggested, George, that I'd already subscribed to, that's going to be a big part of that. I'm also going to use that for trams, so I'm going to have trams running down the middle of the avenues, and then every now and then where there's a junction or a roundabout or something, I'll use the overpass, you know, the one where it's got the gap in the middle. I'll use that and have a tram that goes up over the roundabout and down again. Or down, under and up again, whichever order, whichever one works. I'm glad those trains worked. Yeah, it's something before I started my series on OpenTTD, I used to look up ways to make money, and that was one of the advised ways, was coal and mail. Coal is literally black oil. I was going to say black gold, but that is oil. You know what I mean? It's like, it's solid oil in terms of how much money it can make you. It's also solid oil in its composition when you think about it, but that's not really what I'm talking about. And then, yeah, mail, because I think mail has the best distance to payment rate ratio. I think that's what I read somewhere. How cool will this look if I have... It's raised up like this, and then it just thunders into a tunnel. This reminds me of the East Coast Main Line, where you go through Welwyn North Station. You go over the big Welwyn Viaduct, or Digswell Viaduct, depending on where you're from. And then you go through Welwyn North Station, and then you plunge into the Nebworth tunnels. Don't make the mistake that I make in F1, which is I always try and catch up with everybody else, and I push myself too hard and I end up crashing. You don't have to do that. You know, you can be... There's nothing wrong with mediocre. The BBC made a whole game show about mediocrity last year, which I really enjoyed. First and last, for those of you that don't know. It was a lot of fun. They even got a mediocre host. They got Jason Manford to host it. I like Jason Manford. I'm not criticising him at all. He was great on the Masked Singer as well. Spoiler alert if you've not watched that. Is that the right spot? Just try this again. Yeah. That's the right spot. And then drag you over as well. There we are. Loving it. So I think I'll be, completing this route, signalling it, building the stations, renaming all of the stations that I've built today, and then I reckon we'll have a stream, people. Earnings are 6.7 million per year, hoping to get 8 or 9 million. I read a good tip recently. I think it was to do with OpenTTD, which is if you've got money in the bank, you're effectively wasting it. You know, if you've got money, spend it. Don't faff around keeping it in the bank, because that's just wasted potential. You could be building all new things with that money. So why not actually use it? Oh, not at the same level, was that? Oh, I'm misreading that. Wait, what's the right level? Is it here? Oh, it's there. Okay. I used to watch Mock the Week. I didn't like Frankie Boyle. That was my problem. So I stopped watching it, and then when he left... It's only recently that I've started watching it again, because I quite like the new wave of comedians that are coming through. People like Ed Gamble, James Acaster. I'm a big fan of James Acaster. I'd like to go see him live one day. Yeah, good tip. That's why I spend all my money. Because, you know, money saved is money wasted. And I'm not just talking about in-game. Really, my philosophy for these games is to just build as big a network as you can of as many different modes of transport as possible. You can never go wrong doing that. And then you might have the ones that don't earn you much money. Like in City Skylines, I think they've said monorail is just pointless. But you can kind of, if you have a mediocre monorail system and then a really high-paying tram system, you can use the tram to like subsidize the monorail. Which is kind of what happens in real life when you think about it. You know, the underground might subsidize the cable car. It's not a bad system to have. But then again, people aren't hardwired in real life like they are in the game. So like City Skylines, people have preferred modes of transport, and they will take those even if they have to go 12 miles out of their way in order to do so. Whereas in real life, you kind of take the quickest route from A to B. Are we nearly there yet? Oh man. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Now you can see why I like doing these as time-lapse videos, because I can just put music on. Or I can watch YouTube videos in the background. I can't do that right now because of copyrights. Just need quick ways to make a decent amount of money. Yeah, it's fair enough. I am still considering turning this into a multiplayer game. I do need more Patreon supporters before I can do that, because it's going to be you come on and you run your own franchise rather than the tit for tat that we've got at the moment where you tell me how many trains you want and things like that. And it won't just be you can only come on when I'm online. It'll be 24/7. You can come on whenever you like, run your company. I need to find a way to make it though so that when you're not online, the AI doesn't take over and drive your company into the ground. And I'm not sure if that's possible. But I would like it to be possible, because I don't want someone to go bankrupt just because they weren't here. But I'll have things like track access charges. Might also, when you first join, you might get a loan from M4J that you then have to pay back over however long. Just so that, you know, trains are quite expensive in this game and starting companies might not be able to afford it. So you'll get like a 20 billion loan, let's say, that you then got to pay back, which is basically what happens in real life again. And the only way you'll lose your franchise will be if you stop supporting on Patreon. It won't be like if you fail to run your trains properly, then you'll lose your franchise. However, if you do come on and grief, you will lose your right to manage your own company. You know, it'll be like a de facto M4J will take over again. I used a river to access the centre of the town and converted it to a rail link. Usage went from 50 to 320 per train. Nice. Yeah, I'm at that stage. I basically want people to come on here and do my job for me. So all I have to do is build the new routes, and then other people will come in and populate them. That's why having the signal speed limit control would be good as well, because then people aren't having to worry about, you know, making their trains go as fast as whatever waypoint they're at allows. It'll just be you set up your route, you choose whatever speed limit you want it to run at, and if there's a signal that means you have to slow down, then your train will slow down automatically and you won't have to set it up yourself. Hello, what was that? Oh, is that followed on Twitch? Is that a follow on Twitch? Hang on, I want to check that. Recent events. Streamlabs. Oh no, subscribe. Hey? What happened there? Just got a message saying you subscribed on YouTube, Josh. Josh. Bloody hell. George. Unless you have a new account. That's what it says. Also, thank you to everyone who has been following me on Twitch and YouTube since I started streaming again. That's much appreciated. And those who did before as well, of course. You're all welcome in the M4J family. Are we nearly there yet? A couple more towns. This is a really undulating route, actually, when you look at it. Oh, okay. Strange. My sub count actually went up. In fact, it's gone up to 1017 again. So that's awesome. It dropped to, I think, 1013 the other day. I wasn't panicking, don't get me wrong. I wasn't thinking this is the end, but at the same time it's a little bit concerning when your sub count drops. It went up to 1027 a few days ago, and then it just dropped again to 1013. So I think the bot that controls YouTube Studio might have been having some issues. I posted this on Discord as well yesterday. I was having some issues with Reddit. I was trying to post the stream link for today. I ended up having to abandon it and just scheduling it for today to post, because it just... I had to reset my password on Reddit, and that seemed to just break everything. I have no idea what happened. But yeah, welcome back, George. Not sure what happened to make you leave, but welcome back. And big welcome to everyone who's new. What else was I going to talk about? There's loads of other things that I was going to talk about today. I suppose I could start going through the rail news that caught my eye. Things like, I've already mentioned the People Mover system at Birmingham International. That looks really picturesque. There's like a 12-metre high viaduct that's going to carry passengers to and from the high-speed station. I just think it's so nice. It ties into what I was saying about a big connected network of transports. You've got the high-speed station, and then you've got the People Mover, which transports people from the high-speed station to the airport and existing station. And people will make those connections, you know. It's not like in a game where they'll say it's, you know, there's too many connections, the distance is too long, I'm not going to bother, I'm just going to teleport from A to B, like on Skylines. That does happen. I have a new problem. I used to have people drive to the airport to try and go to the theme park. I fixed that problem, not really sure how. Now they drive and block up Guard Square because they're trying to get on the cruise ships. YouTube also has been known to get rid of accounts that are fake or not been watching for a while. Yeah, they do their regular purges. It's definitely telling that, you know, I have 1,000 subscribers, but I know for a fact that at least half of those are dud. Because I thought when I set up my survey, you know, I have 1,000 subscribers, 100 people will reply to that, no problem. 10%, that's about right. And right now I have 12. So we're at 1%. Which isn't good. Because I still can't implement the changes until I get enough people who have actually responded. So if you know anyone who is a viewer who hasn't responded to the survey yet, just give them a quick nudge for me. Or if you're new, don't think you can't do it just because you're new, because you can. If there's, you know, if you like the upload times to change or anything like that, feel free to suggest them in the survey. That's what it's for. How long would this be as a tunnel? Oh, that's almost perfect. That is almost perfect. I've been on that as well. When I was ill, this is probably too much information for a lot of people, but when I was ill, I lost almost a stone. Because I just, for almost a month, really, I just wasn't eating properly. I don't eat properly anyway, I've gone over this before. But, you know, to go basically a month with not eating at all because of fear of being ill. It's not advisable. I do not recommend anyone does it, but it does work. But don't do it. Be sensible. But I remember that I use Wii Fit a lot, and I mean, Wii Fit is a sassy bitch at times. My brother uses it every day, and I use it sort of once a month. And the other day, it just said to my brother, "Have you spoken to Mark recently? He looks a bit heavier, doesn't he?" And it's just like, ooh, claws are out. Even though it was probably true. And then when I used it to find out what my new weight was, it basically, it had gotten to the point where it had practically forgotten my name because it had been so long. I think it was 60 days since I'd last used it. I can't walk. I've got bad feet, so I can't walk. So I have to use other things. I mean, I'm going the dietary route most of the time for weight loss. I don't really like. I'm not morbidly obese or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. It's just when up until the age of 21, I was basically a rake with a nose. That was me. And then after the age of 21, you know, I was playing golf a few times a week. I was playing football twice a week. I was really, really active, and it all just stopped because I had surgery on my foot, and that's what caused my size to change. So I'm not, you know, I'm not fussed necessarily. I am what I am. But it wouldn't be a bad thing to have a little bit off here and there. My phone is buzzing away left, right and centre. Lots of people wanting to talk to me today as well. Yeah, well, I'm limited in my diet because of reasons I've mentioned before. So that doesn't help. Although I am getting better now. I'm eating a lot more. The problem was, it wasn't so much that I wasn't eating enough variety. It's just I wasn't eating regularly because I'm busy working a lot of the time. You sometimes, it sounds stupid, but sometimes you just forget to eat. So I do that a lot. So I've been trying not to do that. I eat one meal a day at the moment, and it seems to do the job. But I'm always hungry. I'm like the Hulk. That's my secret. I'm always hungry. And I probably shouldn't do that all the time because it's not advisable, but I don't know. If it works, eh? But always be sensible. Don't starve yourself. What am I doing? These, maybe? Actually, no, I know what I'm going to do. Let's have stairs. And then this and this. How are we doing for time? It's almost perfect, actually, time. I eat a lot of snacky stuff. I've started eating popcorn a lot more recently. I used to love popcorn at the cinema, and then I discovered the joyous nature that is nachos. Nachos with cheese. Even though it's just a heart attack in a plastic tub. Oh, it's so nice. I absolutely love it. And I don't like cheese. That's the thing. I don't normally like cheese. But I love nacho cheese. Like, really love it. Unhealthy obsession with it. If it wasn't for the fact that the cinema was shut, I'd be going there every day just to get nachos. Not to watch a film or anything, just to get nachos. So nice. But yeah, I eat a lot of popcorn at home now. I eat a lot of chocolate and crisps and stuff, which really isn't good for me. And then I have one meal a day, which is kind of good for me. And I need to start getting on my exercise bike. It doesn't help that I've got a back of a 60-year-old right now, because I've put that out again, which I think I've mentioned before. Because I'm an old man. I'm an old man trapped in a 27-year-old's body, basically. Ticket machine. I will build a road bridge across here at some point, probably in about 6 years' time when someone reminds me. And what else? Benches. Actually, just shelters. Let's just do shelters. There we are. I'm hungry now. I'm going to go eat after I've finished this stream. I'm so glad that I've found a way to make streaming viable again. I haven't tested it with other games, but the new setup that I'm using with Streamlabs OBS, I recorded some Siege again the other day, and by God does it make a difference. The game wasn't lagging, the stream, or the video, the capture wasn't lagging. It all worked. It's so satisfying when that happens. As it happened, I played Siege quite well as well. I died a lot, but I had some good matches. I was MVP in an unranked game, which is just unheard of for me. So I'm actually looking forward to posting that video, which will be not this weekend, but next weekend. There will be a crappy old Siege video this weekend, because I uploaded one about a month ago and forgot about it. So that'll be going up. And then, I know not everyone likes me playing Siege, and to that I say tough luck, because my channel now is me doing what I enjoy, which is what I used to do. And I enjoy Siege, and I want you guys to enjoy me playing Siege, so I'll be doing that. As well as all this fun stuff. I do like Siege. It's a really well-made game. The special game mode that's going on at the moment, I'm not a huge fan of. But the game as a whole, I do enjoy. Let's not do that, because you don't need to buy tickets on that side. Let's go you there. I am trying to give my station designs a bit more personality. I wouldn't say I've quite hit the nail on the head just yet, but I'm not far off. How many more stations are there? Not many. I don't think I'm going to have direct Guard City to Sanley trains using this route. I think a lot of them will sort of interchange at Fort Flonwood. Because then there's two ways to get between Sanley and Fort Flonwood. You can either go the fast route along the west coast, or you can go the slightly slower route up here. It's just that variety again. And actually, before I finish this stream, what do you guys want to see next week? I'll put a poll up on Discord on YouTube as well, so you guys can vote there. But do you want to see more route building, so complete the route between Munfingford and the south coast, or do you want me to start adding trains? I'm not going to say what my preference is. I will vote in my poll, so if you are one of the first ones to go on and vote, you'll probably see what I chose. But I want you guys to kind of have your say. You can suggest here in the chat as well, of course. I'll try and remember what everyone's ideas were. One, two, three, four, five, six. And then there's this one, and then we're done. let's do this. So you can walk up from that road as well. Both good options. Yeah, I wish I could do both. I don't think I will be able to do both, because again, it's time. It takes so long to do these route building. You kind of forget how long it takes to build these routes sometimes. Right, station names, and then we can start wrapping up. So, we now have a direct connection between Fort Flonwood Parkway, north-south, as opposed to east-west, and Sanley. So this is a good episode in that respect. So some of these are going to be quite simple. For example, we're going to be just Sadworth Falls. I would like to put some quirky endings, like Headingbury Heights is not the worst name, considering it's on the hill. Luntwood Lakeside. There we are, and then you are just going to be Shordinghall. I like that. It's on the shore of the lake. Call it Shordinghall. It's actually, for once, the game has generated a name that's quite fitting. I actually quite like Larningville Pit as well, because it's just before a tunnel. It's below the town, so you could say it's in an old mining pit. Pintburg, whatever you want to call it. We'll just keep that as the name of the town. And then all of these ones, you know, these are all named. Sledtown, Punwell, Ninston. I'm just checking these are all the right names. Menston. That one. Ginningston. Rintown. Sluthall. Yep, all good. Charwood. And then these are all the new ones again. So, Pond Hall. Oops. It's down the L. Peddingham. Again, I could go with Heights here, but elected not to. It's a shame here, because I really wanted to build a big bridge going right the way across. But because of this big town down here, Donley, I might keep Transfer, actually. We'll have a bus station down here. This could be a bus area. Like, you can have a bus system that connects here to there. So yeah, Donley Transfer. I like that. Maybe I'll name it... No, Donley Transfer. You are going to be Old Town. Chunninghead Old Town. Sadhatton. Just keep you the same. Satterberg Springs. Again, just keep you the same. No heights or anything. Slonworth Portland. I like that as a name as well, because you can extend the lake out like this and turn it into a docks. I like that idea. Let's go with it. And then here, just Ronninghall. Planing Pool. Again, don't need the west. And then finally, Frunpool. And then we connect up to Sanley. Alright. I think we're done, guys. I think we're done. Thank you, everybody who's been watching. It's much appreciated. Thank you to those who took part in the chat as well. Don't forget, you can continue the conversation on Discord if you're a member of the Discord server. If you're not a member of the Discord server, the link is in the description down below, so feel free to click that. Join the Discord. You'll get a nice warm welcome from everybody there, and yeah, just join the discussion about rail. And actually, before we leave, because I mentioned it, I'm going to go over some quick headlines. Let me grab a train that I can follow, just so there's something going on the screen whilst I'm... Actually, let me do something else quickly as well. I'm going to experiment here. I'm going to try and end the recording for the time-lapse now, and hopefully it won't end the stream. Okay. I think I'm still live. Am I still live? I think I'm still live. M4J network number 65. There we go. So that's that done. And now I can grab a train somewhere on the network. What do you fancy? One that's running. What's the time of day? 15:44. So there should be a lot of trains running. I saw one actually down here at Portfield. Let's grab you. And we'll ride on board with you while I go over some rail news. Did I save the game? If I didn't, I'm saving it again. So you might hear some train noises. Maybe. If the maybe not actually. Maybe I haven't got that working. Alright, I'm still live. Thank God for that. So yes, rail news. I'm just going to go over some quick headlines really. Grand Central is up and running again on the East Coast. And actually I saw some pictures in the rolling stock section of my magazine of the new, well I say new, the Class 91 stock and Mark IVs in Grand Central livery. Oh! It looks gorgeous. Where is it? I really like the Grand Central livery. You know, in general. I think what I'm going to do, because George, you've inspired me with this, to do with custom liveries. For M4J rail, I'm going to have slow, semi-fast, and fast liveries. And I'm pretty sure... There it is. Oh, it's so nice, the black and orange. Yeah, makes me happy to be alive. I'm pretty sure that the fast trains, like the HSTs, are going to have black as the main colour, with maybe like a blue stripe down the side, or blue and red stripe down the side, a bit like my third kit on Football Manager. Because just black on a fast train looks so nice. I'm a huge fan of that. What else is coming that's new? Avanti have started refurbishing the Voyager fleet that they are keeping. They do, don't they? When it was yellow, like when they first announced the livery for the West Coast and it was yellow, it looked awful. Now they've given it the proper orange, the Grand Central orange with the black. It's just... Is sexy the right word to use about a train? If it isn't, I'm going to pioneer it because it bloody is sexy. But yeah, the Voyager class is, or the Voyager fleet on Avanti is starting to get refurbed, so it's good that they're keeping hold of that. The old 321 and 322 EMUs from Northern have moved to Greater Anglia. Southwest Trains had 3 liveries. Yeah, I guess that was kind of the inspiration for us both, really. Was the white with red and yellow and orange, and then the blue with red and yellow and orange, and then the red with blue and yellow and orange. Those are the 3 liveries. I do like that idea. The only time it doesn't work is if you have if you have people who are so used to that, and then you have stock issues, which means you have a slow train that's running a faster service. People might not clock immediately that that's their train. But when they're completely different, like if you have a high-speed train, HST, that's black with blue and red stripes, and then you have like a 319 that's blue with a red stripe, they're obviously not going to be working each other's services, so that works. I think it's a cool idea though. I like it. I'm really looking forward to seeing your liveries tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. That's why I keep asking, because I'm just desperate to see what they look like. What else is new? The Class 196s are testing on West Midlands. They look okay, I suppose. The orange and purple, they're alright. Oh, there was another really cool thing to do with... I think it was to do with Crossrail, actually. Yes. No. High Speed 2. Construction underway on New Euston Station. I haven't read the article yet. I was going to read that a little bit later on. But that looks cool. PM approves £10 million for Castlefield Corridor study in and around Manchester, which is something I pointed out a long time ago, that should have been done. When they installed the Ordsall curve, they should have quadrupled the tracks through Piccadilly then. But there we go. There's also the story about tunnel ventilation shafts being disguised as barns, which I really like. I think that's clever. If they make them practical, I don't know how practical. Like, I don't think you could have it as a functional barn, not one that stores animals anyway, because I think that wouldn't go down well. But let's say you use it for storage for something, and keep the ventilation shaft in the middle. That could be really cool. You could rent it to actual farms and use it for storage. £20 million to develop Birmingham Airport rail links. That's to do with Kenilworth Station that I was talking about earlier. The project is one of 7 schemes which make up the £3.5 billion Midlands Engine Rail Programme. And the reason why I like this is because the catalyst behind it is High Speed 2, which is why High Speed 2 needs to go ahead, because it's about developing a regional hub that all these other lines then spur into. That's why it needs to happen. The Crossrail delays, which again I don't think is Crossrail's fault, and most of the infrastructure has now been handed over to TfL. It's just testing that's been held up because of everything that's been going on. A little bit of heritage news as well. The Great Central Railway has completed the canal bridge restoration as part of their Bridging the Gap project, which is awesome. It feels like they're running behind schedule on that one. I think they are, but it'll be really good when that's finished, because I mean, a double track, essentially mainline heritage railway, that's going to be a huge crowd draw. That's one of the things, like the Somerset Hills Railway that I've tried to build so many times on Train Simulator and other games. That was inspired by the Great Central Railway. So that's always been a big part of my inspiration for a lot of my builds, actually. And you might even see, because I know George Marshall has suggested more heritage lines across the map, and that will be happening. I should go and show you the Blue Lagoon, actually. I'll do that in a minute as well. But yeah, a double track heritage mainline is part of the plan for the M4J network. I don't know where it's going to go yet, but it is part of the plan. Daventry International Freight Terminal is being extended as well. New 7.5 million, I'm guessing that is. It's put 7.5 m, which I nearly said is 7.5 meters, but that's not very big, is it? 7.5 million square foot extension. All the connections and stuff are being built at the moment, so that looks good. South Wales Metro preparations are underway as well, so construction work has now started on that. It will take 5 years, I think they said, for it to become fully operational. The Cambridge South station location has now been selected as well. 55% of the people consulted have chosen the preferred site. It's right next to the Cambridge Biomedical Campus, so that's going to help out a lot there. The weekend closure for the Goblin, which is something I was talking about earlier as well. Midlands Connects plan. Yeah, it's good. I feel like I should clarify again. I wasn't opposed to the idea of having other lines joining up with High Speed 2. Just not having other trains running on High Speed 2 was my my issue. So I do like the idea of these big hubs being built. Like Old Oak Common, for a start. That's a massive hub for northwest London. And then you have things like East Midlands Hub at Totton, Birmingham High Speed Station, not the one in the city, but the one... Is it just Birmingham International? Is that what they're calling it? I can't even remember now. But ones like that, where it's kind of outside of built-up areas, and you've got the high-speed platforms separate from the mainline platforms. And treat it like a proper hub. Oh yeah, there's also going to be major upgrades on the East Coast mainline between York and Newcastle, which is also really part of the High Speed 2 preparation for when High Speed 2 trains start running between York and Newcastle, and also High Speed North, which is really High Speed 3 and the Northern Powerhouse and all the other names they've had for it over the years. And that, again, should be its own separate thing to High Speed 2. I don't think they should share tracks at all. I think they should be completely separate. Maybe share platforms at stations, but apart from that, be separate. A couple of new stations that have been opened and are planned to be opened as well. So Cordon Station in County Durham has now been opened. That opened a month ago, in fact, over a month ago, June 29th. Why are they only reporting on it now? I don't know. Oh yeah, Birmingham Interchange, that was the name. Of course it was. Duh. But yeah, I think that's it for sort of major rail news. There's some international rail news as well, but nothing really standing out. Oh, DB, Deutsche Bahn have bought new Velaro trains. 8-car, 320 km/h trains. They're based on the old Velaro D design, which I believe is what the Eurostar is as well. and it's using the main high-speed lines between Cologne, Frankfurt, and also to serve Paris and Brussels. Eurostar have reduced their services now. They're not doing their winter sports special this year. They're also not doing their Marseille trains at the moment. Because I read the headline, Eurostar cut services, and I thought, oh god. But actually they're just cutting some of the extremity type services. The rest of them are remaining intact. 13 trains per hour between York and Newcastle. I mean, if the line can cope, then fair enough, but I'm not sure. What else? I think that is it for the major headlines. The Greater Anglia Adventurers have started testing as well. And yeah, I think that is it for the big news. Can't see anything else that's sticking out. Oh, some more of the Atlantes have moved to East Midlands Railway now as well. But yeah, that's that. So I'll go and show you the one and only currently functional Heritage Railway on the M4J network. Bloody hell, we only got as far as Fort Flonwood Parkway here. It's not very quick, is it? It's supposed to be the higher speed rail. Where are we? I just heard some diesel engines rumbling there, so sound is working. Where is the Blue Lagoon? It's over here, isn't it? There it is. So, because of the new tracks that I brought in, the BR tracks, I did have some issues like this, where this old train got stuck here. I forgot to send it to the depot first, and I can't move it. Like, I can't start it. I can't upgrade the track below it because it's in the way. So I had to sort of divert the track around it. And you could say this is the old Blue Lagoon service, which has still got passengers on board, I believe. Yeah, I thought my game would crash then. So they're going to be stuck there forever. And because the track style here is different to the old track style that you can see under the train here, and the old track style under the train here, the depot had no available trains. So I couldn't even do my old method of just send out trains and crash them into each other to delete them that way. So they are literally stuck here. So you could say it's like a little monument. You know, you have some old stations around the country where they've got like a carriage or a wagon or something there on a bit of track, just to show what it used to be like. So we've kind of got that. We've got one here, and we've got another one. That's one of the functional trains there. But there is another one. Oh yeah, this tunnel, because there's one stuck in there. And then this track here as well. There's one too. I think that the others were in the depot, so I was able to remove them. Oh no, there's one here as well. Yeah, there's one here at Condhead Heights. Is the Blue Lagoon on the map, George? I can't remember. But yeah, this is still the hub of all operations. I might have to add an additional platform now because this one's been cut off, or I could just leave it as 3. York Station is being reversed to what it was like before BR cut the platforms. Yeah, that's why nationalisation is a bad idea, because you end up spending the next 30 to 40 years undoing all the work that the nationalisation did. So there is a train running through here at the moment. It's not that full. I've got mail here as well, so this is the first mail operations on the new M4J network. But I like it. So I'm definitely going to be adding more preserved railways. Perhaps not as long as this one, because this is quite long. But they're basically going to be preserved railways, steam and heritage diesel powered, but they are going to act as part of the overall network. So they will offer connections between towns and cities all over the place. Not at the moment. Okay, that's fair enough. If you want to add it, you're more than welcome to. If you don't want to, that's also fine. We've got a lot of freight trains that are just stuck as well because of the... I don't know if I've fixed Great Northern now. It's not looking like I have. I haven't really played the game since last week, so that's why some of these are a bit all over the place still. So you were waiting to run back to... Let's have you leave a little bit early, 7 minutes early. Just so we can get this train out the sidings. We can then move this train into the sidings. Yeah, you can run early, that's fine. And that will ease some of the queues that we've got going on here. I've been playing a lot of Factorio lately. If you're on Discord, you'll have seen me on Factorio a lot. And I've had so many issues with trains queuing up all over the place. So I play Factorio to escape it here. And then I've got to deal with it on Factorio as well. I had someone ask for a Factorio series recently on the survey. I have one. It's an old one. But you know, I did do a Factorio series and I ended it because no one was watching it. 20 minutes early. Yeah, you can leave again. Alright, I think we are done with the video now, guys, or the stream. The video's done, but we're now done with the stream. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you did enjoy the video. It really does help out the channel. Again, I'm not going to schedule this for tomorrow or anything. I'm just going to let it process and then it'll be uploaded once it's finished processing, so you'll be able to watch it back. Are you running on time? Yeah, you're running on time. Yeah, I'm just trying to tidy all this up as well. I might leave the game running overnight now, just to see what happens. I'll remember to put the poll up for next week as well, so people can vote on what they want to see then. And have I missed anything out? I don't think I have. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. Don't forget to leave some comments down below with ideas for future episodes, and also check out the poll, and check out the Discord, and check out the Reddit, and all the other good stuff. And thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, I will see you soon.